Well, from a single quick service restaurant to creating what claims to be the world's largest internet restaurant company, the journey of Rebel Foods has been delicious. It rides high on India's digital boom to create a consumer internet business that indulges the taste buds of India's smartphone-owning, biryani-loving, pizza-gobbling population. The big turning point for erstwhile Faasos, or now Rebel Foods, came when the founders realized that their web and phone delivery business was growing independently of the stores. So they shut down the quick service outlets and leased low-rent spaces to transition from a quick service restaurant to a cloud kitchen network. The shift changed the entire economics of the business, while the company's first brand, Faasos, took 47 months to hit an annual recurring revenue of $15 million. Lunchbox, launched in 2018, hit an ARR of $15 million in just 12 and a half months. Today, the company boasts of over 15 brands across 4 countries and counting. So, as Kurt Vonnegut wrote in his historic novel Jailbird, you can't just eat good food, you've got to talk about it too, and you've got to talk about it to somebody who understands that kind of food. That's exactly what I plan to do today. Hello and welcome to Young Turks, India's longest-running show on startups and entrepreneurship. I'm Shereen Bhan, and joining me today are Jaydeep Barman, the founder and CEO of Rebel Foods, also with me Kalol Banerjee, co-founder at Rebel Foods, and Jaydeep Barman, co-founder and chief product officer at Rebel Foods. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us here on this very special Diwali edition of Young Turks, and we couldn't think of a better team to have in place to bring in the festivities. But Jaydeep, you know, I want to start by asking you about the moment that you had in 2018 when you did believe that you were on to, in your words, something very, very big. Now, the last 7 months of this COVID pandemic and the COVID crisis, while it has been a lesson for many entrepreneurs, it also has presented itself as a validation of your business model, has it not? So if there was any skepticism, whether there was headroom for growth or what the potential of this business could be like, perhaps those concerns and that skepticism stands allayed today. Would you agree?
Yes. I think this is similar to what beginning of 2000 was for retail on internet. I think COVID has sort of accelerated restaurant being on internet phenomenon. So I guess from that perspective, it's been quite a 7 months, lots of learnings. But I believe that our model is going to be a mainstream way of doing business in F&B. And there are enough signals that we are seeing in our business across the world that kind of validate this thesis already.
Mm-hmm. So let me get Kalol to come in on that. And Kalol, I want you to differentiate between the noise and the signal, and the signals that Jaydeep is talking about, which give you the belief that this is a model that's here to stay, and this is going to be the mainstreaming of the food industry as we move forward and adapt and accelerate digital transformation. What are the signals that you're picking up on today that give you a reason for that kind of confidence?
Well, delivery becoming a predominant channel was something that was, I think, going on for the last 3 or 4 years in any case. And this is completely in tune with what we observe in the change of our lifestyles. So if you look at any major city in the world today, traffic is getting worse and worse. People are living further and further away from their places of work. And that's why, the rise of aggregators has been secular across the world. And I think this has been sort of short-circuited by, so anyway, you were seeing a shift in the fastest growing consumption, the distribution channel, from being the restaurant premises to being delivery. And this was gradually transforming the industry into creating digital brands because people were no longer visiting restaurants, etc. And this just got short-circuited with the pandemic. And I just see that across the world, this is what is going on. People are looking for ways to create digital brands, to differentiate digitally. And, we have enough. And of course, this is something that we have grown indigenously in this country independently for our own compulsions. But right now, we are way ahead in terms of any other player in the world, in terms of how we are running these brands, how we are creating these brands. And we're seeing enough interest from players all across the world, both from the demand side and from the supply side, trying to understand what we create and what we've created, and whether they can replicate the same in their markets. So.
Yes, I will talk to you about being able to replicate what you've done in India in some of the other markets that you're targeting. But let me get Soumya to come in. And, since you were talking about creating digital brands and the power of brand differentiation, something that you have managed to do quite effectively at Rebel Foods. I mean, it started with Faasos, and today you've got, 15-odd brands. Soumya, take me through how you're now approaching the future, because the whole point of a cloud kitchen is that you use the efficiencies on the back end, but you have a very sharp front end, and that's exactly what you've been able to deliver on. So as you move forward, I mean, how much more specialization are we likely to see in the front end? Do you believe that niche and niche products will be the way forward?
Yeah, so it will be definitely. And we have been doing it for the past decade, since inception. So if you look at our entire, like how we operate our kitchens and the entire company, so everywhere what we have done is like every problem that we have faced in running the business, we have solved it to technology. And when I talk about technology, it's the technology products that we have built, be it software or hardware. The entire company runs on a platform that has been built by us. Like it's a proprietary tool that we have built, which starts from procurement to delivery. Like the entire stack operates on this platform that we have built. It is so powerful that you can open a kitchen or a brand at a click of a button. It's so robust, it's so and scalable that the same platform can be used to start operations in any part of the globe. Talking about this platform, we should also look at the hardware products that we have built, not only software products which runs this platform, but also the hardware products. So we have a great team who has been working on these products. Like we have built IoT platforms. You might not have ever heard of it in anywhere in this world. So we built IoT platforms and we connected every device in the kitchen.
Jaydeep, let me come back to you. We just got a little bit of a sneak peek into what the food tech business needs to put in place, the sort of tools that you need to ensure go into running and scaling these operations, and which is why you could do 1,000 restaurants in 24 months, which was the sort of big breakthrough as far as you're concerned. But as you look at the future today, what will be the layers that you need to build on, not just on the tech side, but outside of it as well?
Sure. I think the way we look at our business is fundamentally an operating system for launching and scaling food brands. Like in one single sentence, this is our company. And this operating system has 4 parts. So one is, of course, the technology that Soumya has been talking about. The second is culinary innovation. So now we have a team of chefs who look at cuisines from across the world. Like when we went to Indonesia, we built a Japanese brand there. We built an Indonesian fried chicken brand. When we went to UAE, we built a Lebanese brand. So again, all riding on the same platform. So basically, we now have the wherewithal or the culinary innovation expertise to create new products across different cuisines. So that's the second part. The third part is the supply chain, because however good your chefs are, if your supply chain is not a well-integrated machine, you would not have the consistency of quality across the board. If you can't move a particular ingredient, let's say paneer or cottage cheese is best in North, but you need to have that same cheese in Tamil Nadu as well for you to build a brand. So supply chain is the third part of this operating system. And then the fourth is the softest aspect of our operating system, which is a particular way of operating in our kitchens. So how the people are, responsibilities are divided, what is the hierarchy, what's the career progression, who manages those kitchens, etc. Now we've made a million mistakes to get here. But now we have, 350 plus kitchens across the world being run by these people, run, seamlessly day in and day out. So I would say these are the four pillars that we built, which I think is quite a unique operating system, because most food and beverage brands in the world built it on one product, but we are now doing it across products, which also means that we can now open up this platform for other brands, and we've been doing a little bit of that, and pandemic has actually made that part of the business accelerate as well. So today we're working with quite a few well-known brands in India, and we are actually on the verge of bringing one of the largest burger brands in the world to India on our kitchen. So that's the future. The canvas is infinite. We build our own brands. We open the operating platform or the operating system for other brands to ride on it. So it actually is can go on forever. Like it's an infinite canvas in front of us in some sense.
An infinite canvas in front of us. You remind me of something that Mr. Murthy told me many years ago. He said, trust an entrepreneur who can explain his or her business model to you very simply in a sentence so that my grandmother can understand it. And that's exactly what you've been able to do, Jaydeep, an operating system for launching a food brand. That is the Rebel story. But Kalol, to the point that Jaydeep was making now in terms of offering your service to other brands. You're talking about bringing in a large global burger brand into India. How do you see revenue mix changing on account of this? Is the focus now going to be on your own brands, on your own labels, or are you now going to focus much more on tying up with others and, in a sense, outsourcing your services?
So that is not how we view the market at all. The traditional view of a food brand is, this is the offering, and here is the customer profile, typically, this age profile, this economic profile. And our entire insight in this journey has been that this is probably not the best way to think about it, because a brand consumption is an occasion-led thing. So for example, if you're looking at your regular office lunch place, assuming that you're ordering from there, the food may be perfectly good, but you wouldn't order from there on the weekend, if you're sitting with friends, because in your head, that guy is the expert for office lunch. He may be making a perfectly good, So that's how we think as consumers. We kind of think of food in terms of consumption occasions. So when you look at our story, that's how our brands typically are positioned around the consumption occasion. So a Behrouz biryani is not something you're supposed to have every day. So we are aware of that. We know it's a celebratory occasion because it's premiumly priced. And we know it's going to be maybe once in 3 months, and we're fine with that. So that's exactly how we have developed our portfolio so far. But going forward, we just feel that we don't need to understand each and every cuisine ourselves. So, if we know that there is a consumption occasion, let's say for burgers, we don't have to create and invent a burger brand. We could actually take one which is already well known and bring it onto our system. It's going to be available across India in about 327 locations almost overnight. And that's an incredible proposition for any business if they want to scale up within India. So as long as it fits our way of, as long as it fits our operating system, as Jaydeep puts it, it doesn't matter whether it's something that we have developed or we have sourced. So it's the same as far as revenue mix is concerned.
Jaydeep talked about the fact that you're no longer location constrained, which is the big thing as far as the food business is concerned. You've managed to get in all the supply chain efficiencies largely on account of being tech driven. So what kind of benefits do you believe the kind of scale that you're now catering to will deliver as far as economics go? How much more can you squeeze out?
If we have, let's say, a 2,000 square foot kitchen, how much can you squeeze in, for example? And similarly for supply chain, et cetera, et cetera. Now, when we started, we could not, imagine what technology can do. And over time, like for example, last year we applied for a patent for a flatbread making machine. Now, before we had that machine, it used to take us 4 to 4.5 minutes to make a paratha in a particular way. With that machine, that time has now reduced to about 30 seconds. So which means same space, same kitchen, but the capacity has increased by 4 times, like just by a technology intervention. So we think a lot of this capacity is, if we were running this business from a sort of a handicraft point of view, which is that, you take a space up and you put people in and ask them to make things without sort of intervening with technology, without intervening with, productivity, enhancing tools, et cetera, I would say that, probably our kitchens can go, 2 times from where they are today. But as we have seen more and more technology coming into the kitchens, our throughput increasing from the same cost base, time to make a product reduce significantly, et cetera. We believe we still have 4 to 5 times headroom on our kitchens. And as a market, if I take India, Domino's has 1,200 outlets. We have 350 kitchens, so which means we can go 4 times from here in terms of number of kitchens. And then if you think about each kitchen can go 4 to 5 times, in my estimate, then we are looking at 16 to 20 times headroom for our business only in India. And now, we are seeing significant headroom in Indonesia, where we have only 30 kitchens now. We can have like 200 kitchens in Jakarta itself. So as you look across the globe and where our model can travel, and what are the vectors there are in front of us, one is number of kitchens. It's, I am very excited over the next, 20, 30 years.
So put numbers down. Jaydeep, put numbers down for us. You gave the example of where Domino's finds itself in India today and where you are. What's the plan? What's the target over the next few years, both in India and globally?
We believe we can get to a Domino's footprint level, like about 1,000, 1,500 like physical locations in the next 3 to 4 years. And obviously, because we run more brands from a kitchen, we believe our per kitchen throughput would be much higher than a typical QSR, be it a pizza company or a burger company. So that's what that's our ambition is in India. Globally, we have a plan to put about 300 kitchens in Southeast Asia, starting with Indonesia in the next 3 years. Middle East, about 100 more kitchens, including Saudi Arabia and a few of the other markets. So these are the plans that we have based on what we are seeing in these markets and our experience. And we've been in this market for a couple of years. We understand these markets. Now, beyond that, it's a little bit of a estimation now. We've just entered London, but it's too early to say how big we can be there, and it'll take us maybe a couple of months to, or maybe a few quarters to get there. But roughly, we are talking about in Asia, between Middle East, Southeast Asia, and India, anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 kitchens in the next 3 to 4 years.
Wow, that is an ambitious target that you've set for yourself. So, Kallol, what is that going to mean in terms of capital requirements? What fundraising so far, about 340-odd million from marquee names, including the likes of Travis Kalanick. Are you going to be looking at raising funds to, as far as this massive expansion plan is concerned?
So I think, and Jerry probably is the right guy to answer this question, but as far as the next 2 years is concerned, I think we are adequately capitalized. Beyond that, it's a matter of choice how we do these markets. So Southeast Asia, Middle East, And UK, so far, we are pretty confident that we want to do these markets ourselves. Some other markets could be through other vehicles. And I think if you're looking at potential acquisitions, etc., those are right now not factored. But
Are they on the anvil though?
Not actively, but I mean, if an opportunity comes along, I'm sure we'll be ready to look at it.
Okay.
But I really think this is a better question for Jaydeep to answer.
Okay, Jaydeep, I'll come back to you for that and more in just a second. But let me get Soumya back into the conversation. Soumya, let's talk about the food. I mean, we've talked tech, we've talked back end. Let's talk about the food. What are the insights telling you at this point in time? Which niches do you believe that you would like to capitalize on in the food market, in the food space?
So niches would be a few categories that we are looking at are health, which can really go big. And we have already kind of, we have a brand, 5 Minute CP, and we have seen great reviews coming in from different parts of the world, like wherever we are operating in. And there are multiple other niches that are coming up, like, and we are still kind of researching on it and figuring out which one to launch, where to launch, and with the deep research that is going on, we will be able to kind of share it, I think, in the next updates.
Jaydeep, you've got lots of answering to do, so take over from where Soumya left off and respond to the point that Kallol was making as well.
Sure. I think, in terms of how we look at a particular categories, it's basically whether the market size or the growth is big or not, and whether there is fragmentation or not. That's the starting point. So a market which is very large, but very, very fragmented, which means doesn't have a national player or a strong incumbent, that's a great market to enter ourselves. And that's why we entered biryani to start with, big market, but, no pan-India player, so to speak. Similarly, Chinese is an opportunity like that. South Indian is an opportunity like that. Pizza is slightly different. It's a large market, but quite concentrated. But again, it's almost monopolistic, which means there is an opportunity to disrupt that market. So this is how we think about. And now on our radar, things like, health, as Soumya said, that's a big one. And within health, we believe there are 2-3 subsegments. Like, for example, one would be goal-based health, like, for example, weight loss or, muscle gain and things like that. But on the other hand, you have just healthier stuff, like whatever you eat, just eat healthier. Wash your calories and things like that. So I believe in science. There is some work on the drawing board. In fact, we launched a health brand in UAE and UK, and in both places we are seeing good traction. We wanted to launch it in UAE and UK in developed markets so that we understand, what's like. If you want to launch biryani, India is the best market to launch. If you want to launch health, you would rather launch it in UK and UAE, Dubai, and understand, what's really the gold standard, and then we can choose to bring it to India at an opportune time. So that's a big one. The other markets we are looking at is snacks, because 4 to 7 p.m. is a gap in our portfolio, and also that is the time our kitchens are least utilized. Plus, large market, a market which has been disrupted the most because you don't anymore go out and have your chaat and pani puri on the streets, right? So it's a large market, again, no pan-India player. So we are eyeing that market as well. And there are a couple of others, like breakfast is another opportunity, large market, no national player, and things like that. So I would say on the anvil, like very, very short-term, health, snacks, and breakfast are the 3 areas that we are looking at, again, from this lens. But of course, we are very cautious about, scaling a brand. Before scaling a brand, we look at whether there is enough customer love, represented by NPS and rating, whether there is enough unit economics for us, whether we would be able to sustainably give value to the customer. So once these 2 boxes are ticked in a pilot level, then only we take the decision of put money behind that brand and grow and scale it at a pan-national level.
Well, That's plenty of food for thought, gentlemen, that you've given us at the end of these 30 minutes on what it takes to create a food tech business. And we've got answers from the best team in the business. Jaydeep, Kalol and Shoumya, many thanks for joining us. We wish you, your families, your team the very best. Happy Diwali from all of us here at CNBC TV 18 Young Turks. And thanks so much for joining us. We wish you the best of luck.